What's the weather like in Chattanooga during the winter? Is it bright and sunny? Is it gray and gloomy? Do we have snow all the time? I know these questions are things that a lot of people wonder when moving here, especially from places in warmer climates and even places with a lot harsher winter. So what is the winter like here in Chattanooga is what we're going to discuss in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Real quick, I'm an agent here in Chattanooga. I love helping people move to this area. So if you're considering moving to Chattanooga, I would love to help you. Feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call, or just find me on social media and send me a message there. If you're thinking about moving to Chattanooga and buying a house, I can definitely help you. That being said, let's get back to today's video. One of the main things that you should know is that during the winter here in Chattanooga, it's very cloudy, it's very gray and gloomy, overcast most of the time. Now, sunshine wise, Chattanooga gets about 207 days of the year of sunshine. The national average, I believe, is like 204, 205. So technically we're over the average as far as sunshine goes. But in the winter time, it's not like places like Florida or Southern California or Arizona or Texas, and places that get a lot more sunshine. January is actually the month of the year that gets the most overcast and cloudy days, with 54% of the days in January, so about 15 to 16 days of the month, overcast, cloudy, gray, and gloomy. So if you're wondering about the weather here in Chattanooga, one of the main things that I tell people is it's very gray, it's very gloomy and cloudy during the winters here in Chattanooga. Another thing to take into account is the rain. So since it's so cloudy and gray and gloomy, it also rains a lot. Chattanooga, the typical rainy season is more in the winter time. In January, it's the second most rainy month of the year. I think it's like 5.6 inches in the month of January. The first most rainy month is March, right? So it's kind of in between winter and springtime. But with the grayest, gloomiest month of the year plus the second most rain month of the year in January, you can see why we get a lot of rain here. Now, rain here is not like places like Florida where it just kind of, the rain comes out of nowhere and just like a huge pouring rain for 30 minutes and it goes away. Here it's a very constant, drizzly, very light rain. Of course we get some, thunderstorms and things like that where it's heavier, but for the most part we have a very light, drizzly rain where it can rain for 5 days straight, 1 or 2 days of sunshine, and then another 5 days straight of rain. So just know that with the gray and cloudy days, we also get a lot of rain with that. And another thing to note is the soil here is very clay based. So when it rains a lot of the times when you're going on hikes or you're just out in nature, you might get a lot of clay soil. So that type of soil, when it's wet, it gets very sticky, and not that it stains, but it can kind of get everywhere very fast, especially if you have little kids like me. They get clay soil kind of all over their clothes, and we have to constantly wash things and wash their shoes. Just something to take into account. It does rain here a lot, and it's very light and drizzly type of rain. Now, on the bright side of all the rain, one of the best months or best times of the year to go and hike and do waterfalls is actually during the winter time. Because it rains so much during the winter time, the rivers are full and the waterfalls are absolutely amazing. I'll put up a video here of a hike that we did the other week in January, and it was actually nice and sunny, but it had rained all week, and we went on a hike on the weekend and the waterfall was just pouring down. It was cold too, so not a lot of people went on that hike, and we actually were there by ourselves. We had our own personal picnic with our own personal waterfall. It was absolutely beautiful. So the pro is we get nice filled waterfalls, and I don't know about you, but I like hiking during the colder months. During the summer, the hikes in the warmer months are still great, but you're sticky from all the sweat. It's very hot. So when it's cold, yes, it's cold, but as you get moving and get hiking, you warm up a little bit, and actually feels kind of nice to hike out. And there's typically not a lot of people out there hiking anyways, so it's very secluded. You're out in nature, and you can find some nice waterfalls during the winter months. With the winter months, obviously, is the holiday season. Something that happens a lot here is we have a lot of outdoor things that happen as far as like Christmas, holiday season. So in the Chattanooga Zoo, sometimes they do the Chinese lanterns, the Chinese holiday lanterns, and they also have Christmas things and Christmas lights in the zoo. We have Rock City, which is a place that's technically right over the border into Georgia on Lookout Mountain, but it has lights that's kind of filled out throughout the place. They have all the trees are lit up. They have magical wonderland with lights. I mean, it's just beautiful and amazing. And it's on top of the mountain, and you can actually oversee the city in the nighttime, and it's a beautiful place to visit. We have other places like drive-by lighting places where they overtake a softball complex and they just fill it with lights, and it's a drive-by place. You can open up the sunroof and open up the windows. The kids can kind of just look out, and it's a really nice thing to do. You have local places that have Christmas tree lightings where they have firefighters dressed in Santa Claus outfits, and they'll go and light the tree with local bands playing. I mean, during the holiday season in the wintertime, obviously in the wintertime, we have a bunch of local things that you can do outdoors. So that's something that's really cool about the area. A lot of places to visit and a lot of things to do for the holiday season here in Chattanooga in the wintertime. Obviously, with the winter time, the winter weather, it is the coldest part of the year, no doubt, right? But one thing to know is that if you're coming from a warmer climate, like I have family that live in Florida, and when it's 30 degrees here, they're crying because it's 55 or 60 degrees over there, right? So just depending where you come from, it could be a negative, but it could also be a positive, right? If you're in the northern part of the US where it gets in the negatives or 5 degrees or it snows all the time, I mean, coming here, it's going to be way milder for you. And a lot of times I get a lot of people from Arizona or Texas or Florida that they want more of a seasonal feeling. So they are okay with the colder weather here because it's a lot milder. So the average temperature of January, which is the coldest month of the year, the lows is 28 and the highs is 48. So it's not unbearable. It's not freezing all the time. We do get a couple weeks here and there where it gets down to the single digits or in the teens. And there's times that it gets up to 65 degrees when we have a week of nice sunshine. It all depends and it all varies and goes back and forth. But just know that obviously it's colder here, but depending on where you're coming from, it could be a positive, because if you're looking for that cold or that milder winter, you'll definitely find it over here. Snow. That's a big question that I get asked all the time. And snow here is not like places further up north. We do not get a lot of snow for some reason. Every time there's a blizzard or a snowstorm coming through, there's something with when you look at the TV and the meteorologists are talking about the downward and upward pressures. I don't know why, but it always has kind of like a slash that goes around Chattanooga. So Nashville, Knoxville, and a little bit further up north, they get more snow than we do, but that doesn't mean we never get snow. So it might snow 3-4 times a year, right? But it's really just flakes and little snow here and there. Every once in a while we get a good snow, which is 4-6 inches, and it's great because the kids can play. We can build snowman, we can snowball fights, but it's gone within a day or two. In a day, most of it is melted, and in 2 days, it's like it's never snowed. One thing I will mention that the kids probably love is that if we ever have weather that there's a potential of snow or freezing, rain and stuff like that, schools close down for the day or the half a day. So no, snow here is not a big deal to where it snows like crazy and you have to, have salt put out in your driveway and you have to shovel snow. It's not like that. If it does snow, it's just enough for you to enjoy it. But if you live in a place that you love skiing and snowboarding and a lot of snow, you're not going to get that here. One thing I will mention is that you can kind of go 4 hours away to Sugar Mountain in North Carolina. It's not a huge place where you can snowboard and ski, but it's good enough and it's a drivable enough area. I've gone there for the day, wake up really early, drive there in the morning, snowboard all day, and then drive back home. And there's also Gatlinburg, which is about 2-ish hours away. They have a very teeny tiny snowboarding place and skiing place that you can go to just get out there and get snowboarding for the day. So we do not get a lot of snow, but we get enough to enjoy every now and then. One thing I'd like to mention is that a lot of people that move to Chattanooga love outdoors, right? And depending on how the cold is for you, so if you're coming from Florida or places with warmer climates, maybe in the winter months when it's colder, you don't want to go out as much. And if that's you, that's fine, but just know that in the winter time, you're gonna have to find a lot more indoors things to do. So whether it's the aquarium, if you have kids, the Discovery Museum for them, rock climbing place, movie theaters, Dave and Buster's, just things that you can do indoors. There are places to do, but just know obviously for the winter time, you're gonna have to find yourself indoors more, unless you just get used to it, which we do here, and you love hiking in the cold or just being crazy and finding a waterfall and jumping in the cold water. You're gonna have to find things to do indoors. That's not something people typically tend to think about a lot, so I just wanted to mention it so you can be aware of it. And also, I just like to mention the housing. So purchasing a house here in the winter time can be tricky. Sometimes the inventory is filled and full in November, December. More often than not, the lowest points of housing inventory here is January and February. It kind of bottoms out, and then as March comes, it starts to pick back up. In the spring and in the summer, it's when it's a little bit more busy with more houses on the market. Now, does that mean it's a bad time to buy? Absolutely not. We still have a lot of great options for you. It just want you to be aware that there might not be as many options, right? But again, just reach out to me and we can kind of figure out your situation of when the best time is and how we can help you move to Chattanooga. So with that being said, guys, I hope this video was able to answer some questions about winter and how everything goes. If you have any other questions about winter that I didn't ask, feel free to comment below. If you could like and subscribe to the channel if you like these videos and you get value from these videos. And one more time, I'm a real estate agent here in Chattanooga. If you're looking to move to Chattanooga, I would love to help you move here. Feel free to shoot me a text or give me a call to the number on your screen, and I would love to help you. With that being said, guys, take care and God bless.